I respectfully move that the impeachment complaint be dismissed. I so move, Mr. President.
This is it, pansit! Panoorin po natin si Senator Marcoleta, mga kababayan, sa kanyang privileged speech kung ano ang kahahantungan nitong impeachment case ni VP Sara Duterte sa Senado. Panoorin niyo po. O, inom muna. Inom. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Presenting.
Mr. President, I rise on a question of privilege. Today, I believe the entire nation awaits
Yes.
the disposition of the matter in regard to the impeachment complaint filed against the Vice President,
Sara Duterte
Sara
Zimmerman.
Duterte,
Carpio.
in the light of the recent but unanimous decision of the Supreme Court.
Unanimous. Walang kumontra. Unanimous.
Mr. President, this decision was promulgated on July 25, 2025, declaring said complaint to be unconstitutional, void
Unconstitutional.
ab initio,
Void.
violative of due process,
Violative due process.
and that the Senate, in the first place, did not acquire jurisdiction over it.
Did not
Take
acquire
note, Mr.
jurisdiction.
President. It even said that the decision is immediately.
Executory. Oh, final.
But before I continue, Mr. President, let me put on record that the initial proceedings, impeachment proceedings conducted by the Senate in the 19th Congress
Yung nagsuot sila ng robe, ha?
have never been formally carried over to the Senate of the 28th Congress. I do not know and I'm not aware, I cannot recall of any action so far taken by this august chamber to the effect that the initial impeachment proceedings, which were deemed
Deemed.
to have been terminated at the expiration of the 19th Congress at noon of June 30, 2025, have been miraculously brought to life to the effect that the initial impeachment proceedings, which were deemed to have been terminated at the expiration of the 19th Congress at noon of June 30, 2025, have been miraculously brought to life
Brought
into
to
the
life.
present Congress. That having said, Mr. President, I'd like to continue.
Sige, continue.
Mr. President, the decision of the Supreme Court did not dwell on the intrinsic merits of the impeachment complaint filed against the Vice President. It zeroed in merely on the procedures and the processes taken by the House of Representatives.
Hindi dumaan sa due process, in short, mga kababayan.
To repeat, it declared the whole impeachment complaint constituting the articles of impeachment to be unconstitutional, violative
Unconstitutional.
of due process, void ab initio.
Void.
Simply because the rules of procedure in impeachment proceedings in the House of Representatives were never followed.
Never followed.
And
Hindi
they
sinunod.
violated the one-year ban on multiple impeachment complaints as prescribed under Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 5, which says that no impeachment proceedings shall be initiated against the same official more than twice within a period of 1 year.
Kaapat na nga yun
Napakasimple
eh.
po nang sinasabi doon, Mr. President.
Pwede daw, mga kababayan, basta merong number of days eh. Kahit ilang impeachment ang i-file mo, consolidate yan as one. Pero eto, mga kababayan, lumampas sa sila.
President. No impeachment proceeding should be initiated against the same person more than twice within a period of 1 year. Ilan po ang impeachment proceedings, impeachment complaints na ipinail ng House of Representatives? 4 po eh. The first one started in December 2. Sumunod po December 4. Meron pang sumunod na December 19 hanggang sa umabot po ng February 5. Yun nga pong ipinangangalandakan na impeachment complaint which was signed by more than 1/3 of the members of the House of Representatives. Nasunod po ba?
Hindi.
Nasunod po ba ang tuntunin ng House of Representatives?
Obviously, hindi. Sabi ng Supreme Court.
Noon pong nag-require ang Supreme Court, Mr. President, tinanong po yung House of Representatives in connection with the 2 petitions filed by several parties before the Supreme Court. One of the items required by the Supreme Court is for the House to give the status of the first 3 complaints filed.
In-archive nila, mga
Ano po ang
kababayan.
sagot ng House of Representatives? Yun daw pong unang 3, the one filed in December 2, December 4, and December 19, were all archived. Nasaan po sa rules ng House
Wala.
na yun pong mga impeachment complaints na ifa-file ay
Ma-archive lang mga kababayan kung madidismiss. O meaning, na-dismiss na.
archive? Wala po. Pwede po bang ipakita yung slide na kung saan ay makikita natin ano po ba ang proseso kapag may nag-file na isang impeachment complaint?
Tapos pinagpipilitan ni Martin Romualdez.
Ayan po yung Rule 2.
Nanakot pa ng impeachment
Ang sinasabi po sa Rule 2,
sa mga
Mr.
justices
President,
ng Supreme Court. Tatanggalin daw ang mga justices sa Supreme Court. Tinakot ni Romualdez, mga kababayan.
hindi sa Rule 3, sa Rule 3.
Via impeachment din.
Rule 2, Section 3.
Rule 2.
A
Nasaan?
verified complaint for impeachment by a member of the House or by any citizen upon a resolution or endorsement by any member thereof shall be filed with the office of the Secretary General and immediately referred to the Speaker. Bakit hindi po nasunod ang tuntunin na ito, Mr. Speaker?
Malinaw, immediately.
Kailan po ni-refer ng Secretary General sa opisina ng Speaker yung impeachment complaint dated December 2, 2024? Kailan po ni-refer ng Office of the Secretary General yung impeachment complaint na i-file noong December 4? Wala po silang sagot. Kailan po ni-refer ng Office of the Secretary General yung impeachment complaint that was received on December 19? Wala po silang sinasabi. Kung titingnan po natin ang sagot ng Solicitor General in behalf of the House of Representatives, ang sabi po nila, the Secretary General diligently referred simultaneously all the impeachment complaints to the office of the Speaker on February 5, 2025.
2025.
Immediately po ba yan, Mr. Speaker? December 2, December 4, December 19, at isinama po yung February 5. All of them were simultaneously referred to the office of the Speaker on February 5. 2 buwan po ang kanyang ginugol para lang i-refer sa office of the
Dinan
Speaker.
Fernandez, ginugol.
Ano po ang immediate doon? Wala po. Wala po silang sinunod. Wala silang ni-repair at ni-repair nga po, delayed. Nung ma-repair po, ang sabi po ng Solicitor General, the 4 impeachment complaints were included in the order of business doon po sa session number 36. You will note, Mr. Speaker, hindi po niya ibinigay bilang annex yung order of business in section number 36. Ang kanya pong ipinakita ay yung journal number 36. Bakit po? Sapagkat hindi totoo na yung 4 na impeachment complaints were included in the order of business. Mr. President, I have a copy.
Alam ni Marcoleta
of the
yan
order
dahil
of business,
congressman pa siya dati.
Session number 36. And I
alam
will
ni
deposit
Marcoleta.
a copy to the Office of the Senate Secretary for everyone to see and examine for themselves kung talagang in-include nila sa order of business. Wala po.
Wala.
Saan po nila in-include? Doon sa journal. Iba po yung journal sa order of business. Alam po niyo kung bakit lang nalagay sa journal, Mr. Speaker? Idinagdag po nila as additional reference of business. That is not the requirement of the Constitution.
Not the requirement.
Pwede po ba nating makita yung slide? Ano
Sige,
sinasabi
sige,
po
sige,
ng
sige.
Constitution?
Presenting. Eto na.
A verified complaint for impeachment may be filed by the member of the House. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Ang sinasabi po rito,
Ano? 10 session days, mga
Hindi po
kababayan,
yun.
ha?
sorry po, nakalagay po, in-include sa 10 session day. Yun po yung section number 36.
2 months? Sa tingin nyo, mga kababayan, 10 session days yung 2 months? Lampas-lampas na.
Hindi po totoo yun.
Hindi totoo.
Ilang violations na po? Kanina
Dami
po, in-archive po yung tatlong violations. Hindi po ni-refer sa Committee on Justice. Pangatlong violation. 6 na po. Ngayon sinasabi po, in-include po sa order of business. Hindi rin po. 3 violations na naman. 9 na po. At sabi po nila, yung session 36 is the 10th session. Hindi po. Bilangin po natin yung December 2.
Bilangin
That
nyo,
was the date
bilangin
when
nyo.
the first complaint was filed, endorsed, and received by the Office of the Secretary General. December 2 is session number 26. Mr. President, bilangin po ninyo yung session number 26 up to session 36 na sinasabi ng Solicitor General.
Lampas na 10
Yun
session
po ang
days.
11th session. That was not the 10th session. Ang 11th session is session number 35. Just for the record, Mr. Speaker.
Lampas na
So
sila.
ilang violation na po yan?
Patong-patong
Balikan
na.
po ninyo yung Rule 2 na nandyan po sa slide, Mr. Speaker. Ano po yung mode of initiating impeachment? Ganito po ang sinasabi ng Rule of the House of Representatives. Impeachment shall be initiated by the filing and subsequent referral to the Committee of Justice. Ito po yung Ito po yung Sereno versus, Francisco versus House of Representatives. Verified complaint for impeachment filed by any member of the House of Representatives, i-refer po sa Committee on Justice. Verified complaint
Hindi na-refer sa Committee on Justice.
filed by any citizen upon a resolution endorsement by any member thereof, i-refer po sa Committee on Justice.
Wala.
A verified
Walang
complaint
referral.
or resolution impeachment filed by at least 1/3 of all members of the House, i-refer din po sa Committee on Justice.
Diretso na. Automatic ni tambalustos mga kababayan.
Bakit po ang ginawa nila nung makakuha sila ng higit sa 1/3? Dali-dali po nilang tinransmit sa Senate. Ang pagkakakala po nila, Mr. Speaker, sapagkat ang pinagbatayan po nila
Hindi nga nila nabasa mga kababayan.
ay yung Rule 4 na kung saan in
Dahil
Section
ura-urada.
14 sinasabi po endorsement of the complaint resolution to the Senate. Ang sinasabi lamang naman po noon, Sir President, ay yung pamamaraan kung paano po i-endorse yung impeachment complaint that was signed by 1/3 or even more members of the House of Representatives. Hindi naman po sinasabi doon na hindi na sa i-refer sa Committee on Justice. Bakit po nakalagay dito sa rule? Kailangan i-refer din siya sa Committee on Justice, but they never did,
They never did.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. President.
Sir Speaker.
So ilang violations na po ito?
Nasa Senado ka na.
You cannot
Marcoleta.
use Section 14 in isolation of Section 2. Hindi
Tama.
po pwede yun.
Tama.
Binigyan po ba ng discretion, Mr. President? Was the House given the discretion to select, to withhold, and select from among the 4 impeachment complaints, which will be the one to be transmitted in the Senate in derogation of the 1-year ban rule? Wala po silang discretion. Kung sila po mismo ay hindi sumusunod sa tuntunin.
Si
Bakit
Tulfo.
po ngayon ay napakarami pong nagsasalita?
Tabi ni Mark, tahimik lang.
Na parang akala mo ay
Mas magaling
ang
pa sa
Supreme Court pa ang nagkasala, ang nagkamali. Samantalang ito po,
Tito Soto.
napakasimple po ng tuntunin,
Mga Tulfo.
hindi kailanman sinunod.
Virus. Risa.
Even the 10th session day na sinasabi nila, 11th session day nung ilagay po nila sa order of business, sabi nila. They never included them in the order of business. Wala po.
Never included them.
Nasa akin po yung kopya. Ano
Walang
pa po
lusot.
ang pagkakamali?
Walang lusot.
Mr. President, ipakita po natin yung last page ng impeachment complaint. Pakita po sa slide.
Sige, pakita.
Ayan po, Mr. President.
Nababasa ba?
Subscribe and verified before me.
Hala. Oh. Ano na to? Pumirma mga kababayan na walang ano.
Sabi po ng
Hindi totoo yung
Secretary
kanyang
General.
sinumpaan.
Tambay po.
Tsaka hindi sumunod sa proseso. Subscribe before me. Pwede yan, ikakulong yan.
Subscribe and verified before me on this blank day of February 2025.
Blank pa ha? Wala pang date, blank day.
Ito po ba ang verification, Mr. President? Hindi po.
Hindi.
Ang verification po ay nakasaad po sa mismong tuntunin ng House of Representatives. Balikan po natin ang Section 3. Ano po ang sinasabi? Section 3, Paragraph 2. An impeachment complaint is verified by an affidavit that the complainant has read the complaint and that the allegations therein are true and correct of his personal knowledge or based on authentic records. At the very least, yun ang dapat na ilagay po. Nakalagay po ba sa verification dito? Ng Secretary General ng House of Representatives? Wala.
Walang nakalagay.
Ito po'y parang jurat lang sa isang affidavit. Sinasabi lamang po dito, kilalan niya yung nagsipirma sa isang dokumento na ang dokumento ay naglalaman ng 32 pages. This is not the verification required under the rules of impeachment by the House of Representatives. Ang totoo po, kung balikan po natin ang Section 14, nandyan po sa slide. Sinulat na po sa tuntunin kung ano po ang dapat kopyahin nila para magkaroon ng tunay na verification. Hindi pa po nila kinopya. Mr. President, ito po yung contents ng verification na dapat sana yun ang nilagay nila sa complaint. We, sabi po rito, after being sworn in accordance with law, depose and state that we are the complainants in the above entitled complaint or resolution of impeachment, that we have caused the said complaint resolution to be prepared and have read the contents thereof, and that the allegations therein are true of our own knowledge and belief on the basis of our own reading and appreciation of documents and other records pertinent thereto. Kokopyahin na lang, Mr. President.
Kukopyahin
Hindi
na
pa
lang.
nakopya.
Nangungopya na nga lang, di
Mr.
ba?
President, alam mo po, nung ako
Ginawa ng
grade
tama.
Yung teacher po namin,
Umabot
binigyan
pa sa
po
grade
kami ng
4.
isang short quiz. I-drawing ninyo kanya yung Bicol region. Siguro po 1963 yun, Mr. President. Yung Masbate, hindi pa kasali sa Bicol region. O hindi, kabisado ko naman po sapagkat mahilig po ako sa social studies, Mr. President. Meron pong dalawang nangungopya sa akin. Yung isa nasa likod, yung nasa kaliwa ko.
Hindi, tago na lang natin
Yung
sa
nasa
pangalan
likod po,
pambaluslos.
nakopya niya pong tunay yung aking drawing.
Pati pangalan.
Pinagalitan siya pero ipinasa po sapagkat nakopya niya po yung aking drawing. Yung isa po, nangopya na nga, hindi pa niya nakopya. Ang kinopya po, Masbate. O wala po.
Bagsak.
Hindi po siya nakapasa. Ano pong ibig ko sabihin dito? Kukopyahin na lang eh.
Siya nga.
Alam po ninyo sa mga litigation lawyers,
Biyahin na nga lang, hindi pa alam.
practicing lawyers worth their salt. Wala ka lang certification of non-forum shopping, i-dismiss ka ng Supreme Court. Maliwanag po yun.
Maliwanag pa sa sikat ng
Hindi
araw.
subscribe yung complaint mo, dismiss ka kagad. Mahigpit po ngayon eh. Ito po, this is an impeachment complaint. You are removing the second highest official of
32
government.
million
Yung
votes.
lamang pong verification, sablay na po.
Sablay.
Ano pong nakalagay dito? Section 3, paragraph 3. An impeachment complaint required to be verified which contains a verification based on information and belief or upon knowledge or information and belief or lacks proper verification, katulad po nito ngayon, shall be treated as an unsigned impeachment complaint.
Unsigned.
So pwede pong tratuhin pala ngayon.
Wala nga
Sapagkat
date.
wala pong verification. It may be treated as unsigned impeachment complaint. Paano
Unsigned.
Pagkatapos magsasalita po ang napakarami. Alam po ninyo kung, Sir President, kumbaga po sa nagluto ng sinaing, pasensya na po kayo kung kinakailangan ako po'y gagawa ng pagkahalin. Tulad, ano. Ang impeachment complaint po ay parang sinaing na niluto ng House of Representatives. Hilaw po eh.
Hilaw.
Hilaw na hilaw.
Panis. Gusto
Ano po
ipakain
yung
sa
hilaw
mga
sa-
senador.
Bicolano, Mr. President.
Jilaw.
Hilaw din po yata.
Hindi
Sa
luto.
Bisaya,
Hilaw din.
hilaw din po. Sa Kapampangan, magadto, Mr. President.
Magagto.
Sa,
Ang
sa
ngipin ni BBM. Dilaw.
Waray po, matagudtod.
Butod.
Sa Ilonggo po,
Si Admiral.
lagdos.
Ang dami pala, no?
Sa Ilocano, marakusol.
Marakazu.
Sana po tama ang aking
BBM, Marakazu.
pronouns. Ang dami pong nagsasalita, Mr. President. Doon lang po
Tulfo.
sa House of Representatives.
Si
Isa pong bagong
Soto.
pasok doon. Ngunit patagal na pong nagserbisyo sa ating bansa. Naging senadora,
Si Saba.
naging Secretary of Justice, naging chairman ng
Saba.
Human Rights Commission.
Sapol si Saba.
Alam po ba kung ano sinabi niya sa isang panayam? Ito po, nakuha ko.
Gusto pa ipa-impeach ang mga Supreme Court Justices?
Harap-harapan na tayong niloloko.
Mm.
Kakaibang korte ito. Sana sa palengke na lang final ang impeachment case. At least
Dahil
doon,
andun ang mga Saba.
may
na si
nagtitinda
Jonel.
ng totoo. Sana po, magtinda po siya ng matagudtod na kanin
Saging.
dyan sa...
Yung mga matatabang Saba, mga kababayan, kainin niyang buo.
Sa Samar, baka may bibili kaya. Pwede kaya siyang pumunta dyan sa Pampanga po para
Sila ila
magbenta ng
magbenta ng...
magadto na kanin.
Magadto na sa
Kung may
akin.
bibili, baka sakali. Pumunta kaya sa Panay para magbenta ng lagdos na kanin. Wala po siguro, Mr. President.
Na ano pa kanina.
Baka ngayon
bigas
dagang
na
dingding,
20.
hindi pa patusin. Huwag pong ganun.
Huwag ganon. Huwag ganon.
Ang dami na pong nagsipagsalita. Samantalang hindi po nila nakita. Ang dami, kayo po nagsimula ng mali. Hindi naman po sinasabi ng Korte Suprema na kailanman ay huwag kayong mag-impeach. Huwag na kayong mag-file. Ayusin nyo lang po eh.
O makinig ka,
Yun lamang
Soto.
po ang gustong mangyari dito. Ayusin
Sabi ni
nyo.
Soto.
You want to impeach the Vice President, do it in the right way.
Sabi ni Soto, wala na tayo mai-impeach niyan.
Hindi naman po tinignan ng merito eh. Ang sinasabi yung proseso, hindi po nyo sinunod eh.
Do it the right way.
Sinasabi na nga, walang impeachment complaint bukod sa isa. Laban sa isang opisyal Sa loob ng isang akalain mo namang 4 po kagad ang ipinay. Pagkatapos yung 4, i-consider mo na isa. Hindi naman po yata tama yun.
Correct.
Mr. President, gusto ko pong basahin isang parte ng official statement of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines and the Supreme Court's decision in Duterte versus House of Representatives, August 1, 2025.
Hilaw mga kababayan na statement ng IBP. Although kinatigan nila ang Supreme Court, pero anti-Duterte yan yung IBP. Pinamumugaran yan ng anti-Dutertes.
And I quote, "Disagreement with the court's reasoning is neither unwelcome nor unexpected. Dissent is not foreign to a democracy.
Sino
It is
magdi-dissent?
essential to its survival. But to incite public repudiation of its authority or even just to call for its outright defiance erodes the very foundation of the legal order. Such actions disturb the equilibrium of powers and imperil the integrity of our democratic institutions, especially when appropriate
choice ang
legal
IBP,
remedies
makababayan.
remain available within the framework of our constitutional
Hell under
system.
sila ng Supreme Court.
If every adverse ruling becomes an invitation to disobey, the law ceases to be a constraint on power
Oh,
and
Tito
becomes
Soto.
its casualty. The Constitution does not require agreement. It demands adherence.
Adherence.
Sinasabi po ng mga ibang kasama natin, magpapile pa naman ng motion
Motion for
reconsideration.
reconsideration, MR, Martin Romualdez.
Bakit hindi natin hintayin?
Executory na, final na
As I said, Mr. President, if you are a practicing lawyer worth your salt, you are confronted with the unanimous decision of the Supreme Court. In a firm
Sinampal ka
voice,
na
it
ng
says this
unanimous.
is unconstitutional, void ab initio, violative of due process, and the Senate never acquired jurisdiction over this.
Correct.
And it is immediately executed.
Executory.
Parang sinasabi niya sa'yo, wala ka ng room mag-file niyan. Is anyone expecting that even one soul of the member of the Supreme Court will reverse himself?
Si Carpio na
We cannot depend our action,
wala na sa Supreme
Mr.
Court.
President,
Retired.
on the fortunes of litigation. Naalala ko pa nga po doon sa kaso ng Francisco versus House of Representatives, the former Chief Justice Renato Puno in a separate concurring opinion, naalala ko po ang sabi niya, with the possibility of 2 impeachment complaints reaching the Senate, the good Chief Justice said that the Senate, in the exercise of its primary jurisdiction, can decide the question of whether or not the 1-year bar rule has been violated or not. The Senate can even decide if on its face the impeachment complaint has no legal basis. At ang sabi pa po niya doon, Francisco versus House of Representatives, sabi pa niya ron if the Senate finds that the 1-year bar rule is violated or that the impeachment complaint has no legs to stand on, that will be the end of the entire controversy. He was saying that let's give all the remedies available to the House and the Senate because of their primary jurisdiction. But when the case is ripe for judicial determination, it was the view of the former Chief Justice that the Supreme Court at that time, and only at that time, when it can speak with great moral authority in order to compel the loyalty, the respect, and the obedience of our people. Mr. President,
Okay.
when
wrap
the
up.
Supreme Court negates the action of a
Ang taas,
co-equal branch of government,
Ang taas ng speech
it
niya,
does
Marcoleta.
not assert its superiority. Instead, it upholds the supremacy and the dominance of the fundamental law of the land,
Dominance.
the Constitution. And so the Supreme Court has already spoken. The last arbiter of law.
Last
It
arbiter.
says the
Tama.
complaint is unconstitutional, is void ab initio, is
Final
violative of
executory.
due process. The Senate never acquired jurisdiction over this. It is immediately executory. On that note, Mr. President, I respectfully move that the impeachment complaint be dismissed. I so
Be
move,
dismissed.
Mr. President.
Yes! I love it! I love it!
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. President, before Mr. President, we act on the motion of the
Dismiss
distinguished
na.
gentleman from the great province of
Pagbobotohan
Tarlac
na.
and Rizal. Mr. President,
Pagbobotohan na.
the motion is not among the privileged motions listed under our Rule 32, Section 90 of our rules. Therefore, Mr. President, it is debatable and may be subject to clarificatory questions. Nonetheless, Mr. President, our movant, Senator Marcoleta, has the floor. And Mr. President, subject to his consent and with his magnanimity, clarificatory questions on the motion may be entertained. In fact, Mr. President, we have some members of the Senate who wanted to interpolate with the permission, Mr. President.
Sige, interpolate!
What is the pleasure of Senator Soto, our distinguished minority?
Ay, nako! School bukol. Basta yun na mga kababayan na move na ipa-dismiss yung impeachment complaint dyan sa Senado ni VP Sara. Pagbobotohan na lang. Anong masasabi nyo dito? Post your comments below.